This week's channel message from the angels is all about us as conscious creators, about how this giant shift that we're going through, the flash of light that is on its way, how it will change us as creators and what our experience will be like in this new way of being. It's an amazing, beautiful, inspiring message. So I'm super excited to share it with you guys. So welcome back to my channel. It is wonderful to have you here with me. Thank you so much for joining in. And for those of you who are new, who haven't been here before, my name is Ann Tucker. I am a trance channel. I channel from the angelic realm, and I do that by raising my awareness as high as I can go. I go a little higher, and I connect, and then messages and healing come through from the angels, and I share that here with you guys on YouTube. My process is to channel the message in advance. I channel it when I'm quiet and still on my own. And then I have to go through and add in all the punctuation because I use transcription software. I speak the messages, they come through my vocal cords. And I put in all the punctuation, and then I break it out into paragraphs so it's much easier to follow. And then I read it out loud to you guys. And that way it's easier for us to follow the message, understand the message, and it gives me the space I need to be able to understand it myself. Because when it first comes out, I don't understand it at all. So this week's message is a beautiful message. And it is about this idea of trying to help us understand what the experience of being human will be like after we go through this. And they say it really is all about becoming conscious creators, about understanding our connection to our higher self and all that is, understanding us, our identity as being sort of in the middle as the sort of the seat of will and desire connected to the physical body, which is the creative instrument, and how all of this then expresses where we are the organizers of like using our creative spark to organize the world around us into a reflection of who we are. So it's an amazing and helpful message to help us try to wrap our heads around what's coming and what's possible for us. So before I jump into it, I want to invite you, if you would like to join me on retreat in person. I do offer in-person retreats, and these are not large groups. These are smaller groups, around 25 people. We meet in Washington State. I do one in April. I usually do one in October as well. This one is up right now, is in April. And I'll put the dates here for you. And it is a beautiful experience within a very beautiful community of spiritual seekers. So we have it, and we're all staying in the same beautiful location. It's this house that's a lot like Hogwarts. It's like been added onto over and over and over again on this gorgeous property. And we channel the angels. We usually do channeling, morning, afternoon, and evening. The menu is all vegan and gluten-free because you're going to be on the angel diet for the weekend. But the food is amazing. So it's not a bad thing. It's a really good thing. And you will come. A lot of people come by themselves and then make friends once they get there. Some people come with friends, but a lot of people come on their own and then come away from this experience with friends that they keep, enduring friendships. So it is awesome. So anyways, I hope you will consider it. If you are interested, do not wait because it will sell out very quickly. So I have right now there is available private rooms, shared rooms, which is like you and one other person. And then there are group rooms, which have either 3 or 4 people in them, but all the rooms are good rooms. So, all right, check it out. It's on my website, and please enjoy the message. So, all right, here's what they say. We are here to encourage your forming of the new now, to draw into yourselves what is already begotten and foreseen, a new instantiation of wholeness. The arrival of the next now is unimportant. What matters to yourselves is the wholeness of your endeavor. It is the anchor back to your highest incarnation, to the aspect of self who is whole and entire. It is this that it shall envelop you now for your purpose. You are predisposed to wander, to try, and to explore. You are predisposed to take part in turmoil and suggestion. In this new encounter with what you are, the full aspect of yourself shall endow each moment with its center, with the full encounter of what is before you now. It shall draw into the fold of your awareness a deeper feeling of belonging. The centering of the now moment in your awareness takes on a greater field of creative interplay and focus. It becomes an expression of what you are. as it has always been. But now you are centered in the moment and the understanding of who you are with all the aspects endowed into the creator body that you occupy. You become the transporter of that influence and energy onto this plane. This signifies a departure from what you've known. It creates within the soul a stirring sensation of ability, a sense of who you are now juxtaposed to who you have been. The in-between, the moments now through which you are transported, become illuminated with the unfolding of this new endowment. The sensation of what it will become to be alive, to be centered in the now, to transport your own higher awareness to this plane, becomes a circumstantial reference to what is all endowment, to what is whole, to what is the blanket of consolation for the all and the every, the warm and loving embrace of totality, the simple and suggestive moment in which all hearts beat as one, where there is a comprehensive flowing of calm and ease surrounding you, and the sense that you are as one at peace with the all and the every. This state is still separation, for the endowment who you are does not cause the awareness of your separation to be encountered less. It simply resolves you to be bound to one another in this state of awareness, where all things become transparent to the all and the every, where the higher mind conceives of what is present and what is able, and within the self there stirs the longings and the desires of the physical construct, and what to create and how to endow this world with a suggestion of what you are. In this state of preferred separation from what was, in a preferable state of the all and the every, where awareness is transferred into the port of your own speaking and doing, you shall be on this earth as one incarnated for the purpose of living in the tune of your own suggestion, of having and holding within the self a causal memory or idea that shall become vivid to the awareness and shall be culminated in your surroundings. It shall be the sense of yourself as a dominant power organizing those elements which are needed by creative force for the alternate purpose you are interposing upon your surroundings. You shall become an organizer of your reality, as opposed to the suggestive layer which currently drifts through and around your experience and interposes itself between your consciousness and your subconscious awareness, creating haphazardly what shall erupt from the doldrums of your own dormant thinking. We wish for you now to experience yourselves in this new reality, which has transpired to our feeling, which shall come inevitably. We wish for yourselves to have this experience of your endowment as creator self, to understand what it is to play upon the surface of this earth and all its endowments, yes, as creator, and in the capacity of harmonious interplay and exchange with the earth herself, from the understanding of the all and every that you are part of. The intertwinement of yourself becomes a dominating force upon your awareness, and this congeals into every aspect of your own desire. You shall come to serve the earth herself as one who holds in their heart an understanding of yourself as a part of this whole, of this world, and of this instantiation of existence. It shall be revealed to you now. All right. So like I said, this one I spent some time with. Like when I first, of course, you guys know when I first channel stuff, it makes no sense to me. So I had to go back to it and take some time with it. And now, like, I find it to be a really exciting message. And I think the way I see this message, it is about understanding how we will embody as a creator in the future. Like after we go through this shift in consciousness, they're saying that we still have the separation, like we still have our physical body. And this is still they have a great term in here for the physical body. We'll go back to it, but it's basically like this is the body is the creative instrument, but we will be creating from a different perspective. And it has to come from this perspective of unity with our higher self and with everything and everyone. And I get that when I listen to this message, I get the picture in my mind that it will be like, I don't know if you guys ever saw that one, like there's some of those sci-fi movies where they have like this, like clear screen in front of them and they're like moving components around and grabbing this and expanding this. And it just like looks like magic. I think that's what we're going to be doing, except with like Earth. So I think it's going to be a thing where our and they say we will be the organizer. And that the elements, like the things around us, it's literally like we have a much more conscious experience of creating. And we're doing it through the physical body still, but it's like we understand how it works because we're tapped into the higher self as well as everything, everyone else and everything else. So we see everything as energy. So they're trying to describe this to us in a way that kind of we can wrap our head around. But yeah, it sounds amazing. And I don't know, like, will this come after the first wave of light or after? They said there will be 3 waves of light. My guess is that and they said that each wave is stronger. So my guess is that the first wave shifts us. They said it will be the moment that we look back on and say, that's when everything changed. That will be the moment that everything changes. And so I think that's a biggie. The first wave is a biggie, but then there are 2 more. And so I don't know if this comes and I said increasing each time, right? Stronger each time. So I don't know if this comes sort of at the end of that process. Maybe we get a bit of it, with the first wave of light. I don't know. But I think we can all feel pieces of this. Like as I hear this, it feels super exciting and it feels possible. It feels like this, like it doesn't feel like something that is unbelievable to me. It feels like something that was sort of in there rattling around before. So I am hoping that we're going to get some of this in our lifetimes. And Teresa, thank you for joining us. Great to see you, Teresa. Justina says, lovely. We will awaken to our creative powers. I will no longer feel like I'm sleepwalking here. Yeah. I said, gosh, we will need these skills to tidy the mess we made of this earth. Yeah. I do think and that was really, really clear that a big part of this is us becoming the stewards of the earth, really understanding how to work with the earth. And they showed in past, I don't know if it was different messages or maybe it was peace bathing sessions, but they showed that we would be able to look at it and look at something and see the energy of it. And they said we wouldn't be able to change the nature of the thing. So in other words, like here's my computer mouse, like I would be able to look at this and I wouldn't be able to change its nature, like transform it from a mouse into like a living mouse. But if I could see it and see that there was something in it that was not functioning, or that there was something energetic, like maybe the person who assembled this mouse was like having a really bad day. I could see that discordant energy inside of it and transform that, right? That it's like you can move and shift energy in that way, which to me is a lot like healing a human body. So super, super interesting. But okay, so let's go through the message and break it down paragraph by paragraph to talk through and get more meaning from this, more understanding, I should say. So, okay. And Teresa says, I have been experiencing this kind of creating when healing clients energetically. I have been finding a need and creating a tool to transform what needs to be fixed. Super cool, Teresa. Yeah, Susan says, that's exciting. Yeah, it really is. Like, I think that the reason why I think they're taking, like they're spending time really trying to spell this out for us is I think it's really hard for us to get it conceptually because it's so outside of what our experience is now. So I think they're really trying to help stretch us into what this could be for us or what they say will be. They say it already is, right? They see things as they will be and it's already happened from their perspective. All right. So first paragraph, they say, we are here to encourage your forming of the new now. So this is to encourage our creative self, our forming of the new now, that we will be forming the new now, right? So this is really what the message is about. They're saying right up front, we are here to encourage your forming of the new now. to draw into yourselves what is already begotten and foreseen. In other words, this has already happened from their perspective, that these abilities, this way of being different in our world is a foregone conclusion. It's going to happen. They say a new instantiation of wholeness. So here, really in the first paragraph, they're saying this is what this whole message is about, that it is inevitable that we will learn to create differently, creating in the now, forming the new now from ourselves. And they say it will be a new instantiation of wholeness, that it will come from a wholeness of our being, where we are united with our higher self and with all that is, with everyone and all that is, wholeness, right? Super cool. All right, then they go on, next paragraph. They say the arrival of the next now is unimportant. Well, that's surprising because we have so much focus on that right now. Like, we're so interested in like this flash of light and all this stuff. But what they're trying to say here is that it isn't the event that's important. It is how we change that's important. So they say what matters to yourselves is the wholeness of your endeavor, right? It is the anchor back to your highest incarnation, to the aspect of self who is whole and entire. It is this that shall envelop you now for your purpose. So they're saying that it isn't the event itself that matters most to us. What matters most to us is this process of reuniting with our higher self and with the all and with with everything that exists. So in other words, they're saying that this can happen. We could do this on our own, is what they're saying. That it isn't the event. Well, the event is going to propel us all into this new state of this new frequency because of the light that's coming to us. It's going to raise our frequency to be able to do this. But they're saying this is what matters. So it's really focused less on the event and more on how it's going to transform us, into wholeness, into our higher self, our highest incarnation. They're saying, and the connection with everything. Next paragraph, they say, you are predisposed. This is funny. You are predisposed to wander and to try to explore. You are predisposed to take part in turmoil and suggestion. So in other words, they're saying that we are really distractible. It's like that squirrel, like that idea that humans right now, that our energy is like scatter. Like we have energy going towards, things that we kind of want, things that we thought we wanted, things that we are sure we want. We've got energy going in like every direction. And that's what they're saying. We are predisposed to wander, to try this, try that, to explore this, right? And to take part in turmoil. So we get caught up in like whatever's going around us. And they say, and suggestion. So we're really prone to suggestive. People say stuff like they'll be like, oh, I've got a cold. And immediately we think we have a cold, So they're saying this is how we are right now, that we are all over the place energetically. And they say, in this new encounter with what you are, the full aspect of yourself shall endow each moment in its center with the full encounter of what is before you now. So in other words, we go much deeper in our experience of the present moment, that we aren't so distractible. Our energy isn't going everywhere. That what this process does, this shifting of our frequency and this connection to our higher self, is that we become focused. So which makes us way more powerful. I always think about this concept of a energy that's splatter pattern versus the focused energy as like, think about when you walk into a room and you turn on a light switch and it illuminates the room, right? And it's a diffuse light. It kind of goes everywhere. And there's some parts of the room that are brighter and some that are darker, like the corners maybe don't get as much light. And the light's just kind of soft. It's kind of going everywhere. Now compare that to a laser beam where all of the light particles or whatever are all very aligned. Like they're not just kind of going everywhere. They are all focused in the exact same direction, right? Aligned like parallel lines. And that creates a laser which is infinitely more powerful than the diffuse light. So that's kind of be the difference of our energies. Rather than kind of having our awareness just like everywhere, it'll be our awareness like laser focused on the now moment, which is hard for us to even conceive of, because think about how hard it is for us to meditate, like just to keep that monkey mind settled long enough to sit in meditation, right? So apparently that won't be hard for us anymore. Our awareness will be like burning holes in the meditation mat. So so we are predisposed to wander, but not anymore. They say in this new encounter with what you are, the full aspect of yourself shall endow each moment in its center with the full encounter of what is before you now. It shall draw into the fold of your awareness a deeper feeling of belonging. Isn't that amazing how they describe what that is? That it is a deeper feeling of belonging is what anchors us and all of our awareness into the now moment. That's what gives us the deeper experience. What keeps our monkey mind from going everywhere is the feeling of belonging, right? So that is a really interesting, like I would not have expected that. Yeah. And Sherry's saying, and please think about a retreat in Washington to bring us like-minded people together while we navigate this. I was just, it is in Washington. Sheer means Washington State. We have one. I have a retreat coming up in April, and it is on the front page of my website, and it is not a large one. I like these to stay small because I want it to be where everybody can meet each other and feel seen, and it's a lovely experience. So it's so funny you bring that up, Sherry, because yes, I literally just posted it. And I just opened it up. So there are spaces available, and it's literally like, it's going to be like 25 people. So it's a small group in-person weekend. So check it out. It's on there. I would love for you to join us, Sherry. That would be awesome. It's in April. And I'll put the link in the description too. So next paragraph, the next paragraph is talking about how we become a conscious creators. So here's what they say. They say the centering of the now moment in your awareness takes on a greater field of creative interplay and focus. It becomes an expression of what you are, as it always has been. But now you are centered in the moment and the understanding of who you are, and with all the aspects endowed into the creator body that you occupy. You become the transporter of that influence and energy onto this plane. So this is, like I was saying, it's about becoming conscious in the way that we create. So centering in the now moment, this idea of this deeper focus that's coming from this feeling of belonging, right? The oneness, connection to everything and everyone, right? So it's centering in the now. It in our awareness, it takes on a greater field of creative interplay and focus. So what's interesting about that, it's interplay. It is us being responsive to our environment, but our environment being responsive to us. So I literally see it as if our environment is like the ingredients, and we are taking, oh, look what just showed up. I can now combine this with this and create this new experience for myself, right? So it's this interplay. It's this response to our environment, but our environment responding to us working with that in a really conscious way. It becomes an expression of what you are because you are creating it, right? As it has always been, but now you are centered in the moment and the understanding of who you are with all the aspects endowed into the creator body that you occupy. So the body is still the vehicle through which we create. The body is still front and center on this earth experience, but we are tapped into our divine awareness. So it changes the way, sorry, my camera just freaks out. Let me get to there. Sorry about that. Now you just saw all my pores. So it's just because I did a gesture and it responds to my gesture. So I need to figure out how to turn that off. It's not a good feature. So anyways, so it's this idea of, so where am I? With all aspects endowed into the creator body that you occupy, you become the transporter of that influence and energy onto this plane. So it's almost like we've got the higher self, we've got the self, and we've got the body. And the self becomes connected to both. So all of a sudden we have this much stronger connection to the higher self and to all that is. But we are still conscious of our identity, which connects us to ego, which is not a bad thing because the ego helps us determine desire. What do we want to create? What sounds fun, right? So we need that piece. And then that then works through the body. So it's this sort of trifecta that I think that's how I'm seeing it and understanding it. And you guys are saying, where are you? Emma's saying the feeling of belonging makes sense to me. Our ego protects us due to past traumatic or overwhelming experiences, including attachment wounding. When we are safely attached to ourselves, our ego no longer needs to do all these protection methods. Let's see I think I missed part of it. But now follows us. We drive the car now and the ego sits in the backseat. Yes, great way of saying that. Yeah, for sure. It's an extreme close-up. Sorry about that. Oh, and thank you about the skin part. Thanks.
That was definitely a little closer than I think I want to be inspected. Especially, could you imagine if this was on like a big screen? You'd be like literally in my nostrils. Not good. Not a good thing. So, where are we? You become the transporter of that influence and energy onto this plane. Next paragraph. This signifies a departure from what you've known. It creates within the soul a stirring sensation of ability, which I love that idea. So we become aware of the abilities that we currently have. It's basically they're saying that we have these abilities already, but we cannot connect to them yet because we're not at a high enough frequency. As we learn to do this, right, it creates in us this stirring sensation of ability. It's exciting, is what they're saying. This is going to be amazing. Right? And we're going to see the contrast from the way that we've been to this new ability coming in. They say a sense of who you are now juxtaposed to who you have been. The in-between, the moments now through which you are transported become illuminated with the unfolding of this new endowment. So in other words, the process of learning to do this is they're describing it like it's going to be an incredibly exciting thing, that the learning how to do this is going to be amazing for us. So yeah, totally cool. All right, next paragraph, they say, and this next paragraph is about where you are one with your surroundings, which feels peaceful. So this is kind of what we're heading to. And this is what they say. They say the sensation of what it will become to be alive, to be centered in the now, to be transported, to transport your own higher awareness to this plane becomes a circumstantial reference to what is all endowment. So we've got two angel words of the day in this one sentence. So what they're saying here, the sensation of what it will be to become alive. So how the whole concept of living is to be centered in the now, right? To transport your higher awareness to this plane, right? So this feeling of this deeper, more saturated experience of presence, which is they say is part of belonging, becomes a circumstantial reference to what is all endowment. So circumstantial means pertinent, but not essential. In other words, that this is related to everything else, but it is not the center of everything else. It's not the center of the universe, but it reflects the universe. It's pertinent, it's relevant, it's part of the all, but it is not the center of the all, right? This is a reflection of the larger whole, is what they're saying. And then they say that another definition of circumstantial is marked by careful attention to detail, abounding in factual details. So in other words, this is a highly detailed replica of the larger picture of all existence, which is the truth about everything. Like everything that is true of the human body is true in the universe. So this is really a reference to that idea of, people call it the hologram or the fractal, that it's that like what is true for, for each individual cell in my body is true for the whole of my body. What's true, that you can see the, what do they call the Fibonacci sequence in a seashell, and it looks just like the shape of the universe, right? What's true for the small is true for the large. So they're saying that this sensation of becoming alive and centered in the now, that transporting our awareness to this plane becomes the same thing as experiencing, right? What is the all and the every? It's like a reference to the fact that this world we're going to be experiencing is a small version of playing in the universe and the stardust, right? And then they say it is a reference to what is all endowment. So endowment means down here, let's see, I wrote the definition of endowment. It is an endowment can mean a living or a property given to someone, and it can also mean a quality or ability inherited by someone. So in other words, they're saying by using the word endowment, they're referring to this is all given to us by source. That this ability, that all this whole experience is given to us by our divine creator, which we are part of, right? So it's really that idea that all of this is a gift, really, is what they're saying, that life, this experience is a gift. Yeah. They go on to say, to what is whole, to what is the blanket of consolation for the all and the every, the warm and loving embrace of totality. And what I like about this is they're really getting back to the concept of belonging. This concept of think about a warm blanket that makes you feel comfortable, the warm and loving embrace of totality. that this is the sense of like living in the world and not, yes, we're still going to have the experience of separation, but we will have that within the context of like, we will have that and have belonging, which gives us this loving embrace, this feeling of being wrapped in a warm blanket, right? And they say the simple and suggestive moments in which all hearts beat as one. So that's belonging. Again, they're talking about it here, where there is a comprehensive flowing of calm and ease surrounding you, and the sense that you are as one at peace with the all and the every. So this connection changes our entire perspective of what it is to be on earth. But I cannot tell you the number of times in my life and probably in your life that you have heard people say, life is just hard, right? In this new world, nobody will be saying that. It'll be like, wow, this is like an amazing experience of expressing ourselves in this earth realm, right? That we will see ourselves as capable of influencing and impacting our reality around us in a deep and transformative way. That it becomes an expression of who we are in a way that is centered and focused, while we are connected to everything around us and to everyone around us. So there's this sense of being wrapped in a blanket of love where everything feels peaceful. There's no sense of being at risk, right? Because how can you? If everything is you, how can you be at risk? How can you be in danger? How can you be suffering, right? So it's completely like, this is really, again, tying to this concept of no more karma. Right? So, because we can't be in judgment of ourselves because we see ourselves in our wholeness. So it's amazing. It really is. And I see how these messages are building one upon another, right? Where they're laying the layers for us to be able to understand this in more depth. And they go on into the next paragraph. They say this state is still separation. So in other words, we're not losing that. We're still going to be in the physical body, right? Which is separated from our reality. So it is still separation. For the endowment of who you are does not cause the awareness of your separation to be encountered less. So in other words, bringing in everything, all of our higher self, it doesn't change the state of separation. It doesn't change the fact that our bodies have skin and that we are separated from what's around us, right? They say it simply resolves you to be bound to one another in this state of awareness where all things become transparent to the all and the every. So it's really about our conscious choice. So it resolves us. We make the conscious choice to be bound to one another, right? To come into unity. It's a choice to trust each other, to move into a state of unity with each other, right? So, and in this state of awareness where all things become transparent to the all and the every. So this is, again, respecting our free will, right? So important throughout our entire journey. So that's what they're saying. They're saying, yep, state of separation is still here, but we get to experience this new way of being and we can choose it and move into this unity with one another where we experience everything differently. And all of our fear, all of our suffering goes away. And instead we have this wonderful sense of belonging. And all of us becomes focused in the now moment. We're no longer scattered everywhere, right? So our energy, we become significantly more powerful as creators. So that's kind of how I'd sum it up. You know, it's a pretty amazing idea. All right. So then they go on to say where the higher mind conceives of what is present and what is able. And within the self, there stirs the longings and desires of the physical construct and what to create and how to endow this world with a suggestion of what you are. So they're saying there's the two things working here. They're saying, one, there is the higher mind, which conceives of what is present and what is able. So the higher mind, we get that higher perspective of what is around us, what is possible, what are, you know, like maybe we're able to see into the future to see if I do this, this is what will happen. I don't know. They're saying what is present and what is able. And then they say, and within the self, there stirs the longings and the desires of the physical construct. So that's the ego. That's us. That still has to be part of this game because there has to be will and desire in order to create. So we are playing that role, our identity, our usness in this incarnation through the physical body, right? And so it stirs the longings and desires of the physical construct and what to create and how to endow this world with a suggestion of what you are. So it's really like the big question of what do you want to be when you grow up, you know? All right, they go on to say, in this state of preferred separation from what was. So in other words, we see ourselves in this, we will have the memory of how we are today, And we will have this experience of this new way of being, and we will prefer it, is what they're saying, a preferred separation from what was, in a preferable state of the all and the every, in other words, which is specifically referring to the connection with all things, where awareness is transferred into the port of your own speaking and doing. You shall be on this earth as one incarnated for the purpose of living in the tune of your own suggestion. So in other words, they're saying where awareness is transferred into the port of your own speaking and doing. So awareness is then infiltrating everything you say and do. So that there is no longer unconscious doing where we just follow patterns and we just do things because that's what we were taught to do and this is what we are conditioned to do. We become conscious in all of our moments, every moment impregnated with full awareness, right? And then that transfers into our speaking and into our doing, right? And then they say, you shall be on this earth as one incarnated for the purpose. So this is our new purpose in this new way of being, for the purpose of living in the tune of your own suggestion. In other words, it is playing your soul song. It is being who you are and letting that self then affect and create around you a representation of that internal landscape so that you can experience yourself on the outside, right? Super, super amazing, but in a conscious way, not in the unconscious way that we've been doing it. And here they say it's really to the tune of your own suggestion. So there's really the implication here that we get to have some fun, that it's sort of like, well, what do you want to experience, right? Do you want rainbow unicorns? Well, try and make that happen. See what you can do. I don't know. But it's that idea that is your own suggestion. What occurs to you? What would be cool, you know? And they go on to say, but then they say later that our desires get tempered by this new awareness, that we no longer are going to want the same things. Basically, the things that seem really important to us now probably won't be important to us after this shift in frequency. Yeah. And I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. They go on to say of having and holding within the self a causal memory or idea that shall become vivid to the awareness. So they're describing the creative process. So having or holding within you a causal memory or idea. So it could be a thing where you have a memory where you're like, oh, I remember one time I had this experience with something and I would like to have that again, or I want something adjacent to that or not that, right? So that would be a memory or an idea, which is like something you create out of thin air, or maybe it comes to you from your higher self, an idea. Or from your guides, your angels, right? An idea that shall become vivid to the awareness. So you perceive it, it's like you imagine it, vivid to the awareness, and shall be culminated in your surroundings. So in the same way that we talk about manifestation now, it sounds like that's a similar process, except for the fact that we're way, way, way better at it. Right? We imagine, we feel it, we see it as if it already is, and then it culminates in our surroundings. Then they say, it shall be the sense of yourself as a dominant power, organizing those elements which are needed by creative force for the alternate purpose you are interposing upon your surroundings. So in other words, that there may be other things around you so maybe that like this mouse I was talking about has in its own identity as an object to be a mouse. But I may say, okay, I want to take this mouse and turn it, use it as part of this other plan that I have in my vision. And that I am the dominant force. So even though the mouse may have an idea of itself, my idea takes precedence. That we are the organizers of what goes on around us. Organizing those elements which are needed by creative force, which is us, for the alternate purpose you are interposing upon your surroundings. So we become the organizers of our environment to reflect who we are and what we want to create. They go on to say in the next paragraph is saying that that we'll be conscious organizers rather than unconscious creators, which is what we've been. They say, you shall become an organizer of your reality, as opposed to the suggestive layer, which currently drifts through and around your experience and interposes itself between your consciousness and subconscious awareness, creating haphazardly what shall erupt from the doldrums of your own dormant thinking. They know how to say it, don't they? So basically it's like our lazy thinking, our unconscious thinking, like what is it that we are creating around us without even knowing? And something occurred to me here in what they said before, by the way, that I think is really important and interesting, is they said that we are the organizers, that we are, and that gets to the idea where they said before that we cannot change the fundamental nature of what something is. So in other words, that we can't take a tree and turn it into a rock, that the tree will stay a tree, but that we can change its expression of tree-ness. We can make it a different color. We can make it a different type of tree. I don't know. You know what I mean? But we can't change its fundamental nature as a tree. So, so that's, I think, why we're taking things around us and organizing them. So we're taking things that exist and putting them together in new ways that create a new experience. So interesting, very interesting. So then they go on to say, next paragraph is saying that, that we will be creating from the all and from higher awareness in this new way of being. So they say, we wish for you now to experience yourselves in this new reality, which has transpired to our feeling, which shall come inevitably. So they're basically saying this is going to happen. And that makes sense. If this is coming from the Betelgeuse star, which a lot of people think this wave of light is coming from that, could be, maybe not, I don't know. But if it is, the Betelgeuse star, like we were talking about, it supernovaed back in our 13 or 1400s. And it's just taken this long for the light to get to us because it's so far away. At the speed of light, it just traveled, and now it will arrive sometime in our, maybe 2024. So what that means is that it is inevitable. The wave of light has been on its way to us for a really, really, really long time. So that's what they're referencing here, is saying that from their feeling, this has already transpired because it shall come inevitably. And they say, we wish for yourselves to have this experience of your endowment as creator self. So in terms of just us having an amazing experience on the school planet of Earth, they want us to have this experience of ourselves, of our endowment as creator self. Remember, endowment is a gift, that we have been gifted with the creative sparks. The angels have talked about this before, that the way that we are different from the angels is that the angels say that they are the light of God. And I use God, that's my word, source, use what makes sense for you. But they say that they are the light of God and that we are the spark of God, the spark of the divine. So we have that creative spark, that ability to transform our surroundings to reflect what is us, to make ourselves, to create ourselves outside of us, right? And the angels aren't like that. They can create something. Like for example, like you probably have heard stories of angels making one fish into like 50 fishes or stuff like that, changing things, changing our reality, but their reality is not a reflection of them. And that's the difference. So they are the light of God. We are the spark of God. And so that they want us to have the experience of that endowment, right? That gift of being the spark of God, of our creator self, to understand what it is to play upon the surface of this earth and all its endowments, right? So it's really, they're emphasizing this is supposed to be fun, right? On this earth and all of its gifts, its many gifts, right? Yes, as creator, and in the capacity of harmonious interplay and exchange with the earth herself, from the understanding of the all and every that you are part of. So in other words, they're saying that we will be in harmonious exchange with the earth. We are not talking about deforestation of the Amazon anymore, right? We're talking about how we will have this connection to everything. So we will understand how to move and be in our world and to be this expression of ourselves in harmony with our surroundings, with the earth, in harmony with the earth, right? And and we get that from our connection to the all and the every, from our connection to being one with all things. Yeah. And then last paragraph here is saying the intertwinement of yourself, right? The intertwinement of you and your higher self and the all and the every, you becoming one with all of this. You're the intertwinement of your physical body, your current present self and your higher self and everything and everyone. This intertwinement of yourself becomes a dominating force upon your awareness. And this congeals into every aspect of your own desire. In other words, we are going to want different things. That all the things that we thought were important to us now, that feel really important, no longer seem important at all, because we have this new understanding of ourselves and of our reality and our surroundings. And we move through it in a totally different way. So the things, when you can create your world around you in this way that they're describing, it no longer seems relevant to worry about your 401k. You know what I mean? Like somehow, like it just doesn't seem to matter. So like, how is it? I know people are wondering, like, are we still going to have an economy? And I think, yes, Like for some period of time, I don't know how long, I think, yes, we will still have an economy. And I think that it will still, like this change, like we are getting one wave of light right now. I don't know how long it will be before we get the second one. They haven't started talking about it yet. So I don't know. But at some point, the world will be really, really, really different. Yeah. So the intertwinement of yourself becomes a dominating force upon your awareness, right? So we have all the five senses, which are still relevant, but the thing that is most engrossing, most interesting, most informative, the thing that carries the richest experience of our world is this higher awareness that we can tap into. So that's where we're going to go, right? That's going to be the most, imagine like in terms of your own five senses, like right now, what is your dominant sense? What is the thing that you get the most information of? Like I am highly visual. I have a really hard time learning through my ears. Like if people tell me stuff, it just goes in one ear and out the other. But if I read it, I'll hold it in my head for a really long time. So my dominant source is my vision. But this is going to be our new dominant sense. It's going to be the thing that gives us the most information, the most awareness, the most understanding. So it's where we're going to go. And the five senses will still be there. They just will, and they'll be helpful, just like your sense of smell is helpful, but we don't use it all the time. It's not like dogs would like sniff each other to like get to know like, who are you? I'm going to sniff you. Like that's dogs. That's a big sense for them. Smell is big. But for us, it's going to be this higher awareness becomes our biggest thing that we rely on. Yeah. And they say this congeals into every aspect of your own desire. You shall come to serve the earth herself as one who holds in their heart an understanding of yourself as part of this whole, of this world, and of this instantiation of existence. It shall be revealed to you now. So in the process of having this new awareness, we recognize how interconnected we are with the earth. It's almost like we are the earth and she is us. And so our relationship to the earth changes completely. And so they're saying this then influences everything we want. Like all the things that we want become different. And that is just that by itself is hard to wrap our heads around. You know what I mean? But it's amazing, exciting. Like, and it really makes me think like all of these intractable problems that we have as humans, these issues that we have where we have two sides of an issue and both have needs and they are both harmful, right? You know what I mean? Like I think about I think we were talking about the deforestation of the Amazon, and how devastating that is to the planet. And then you look at the needs of the person, the individual who's doing it, who needs to feed their family. Do you know what I mean? And you have these two issues that like it is in this new way of being, like it is, I think all of these things that seem intractable, that seem like how do we solve for climate change when we have all these competing interests, all these different people that have their own needs and that want different things. It feels like we need a shift as big as this to solve those problems, right? To heal the earth. That we have to change at a fundamental level, that what we want has to change so that we can change the world. Yeah. Wow. So let's see what you guys are saying. Where is it? Let's see here. And so much to wrap the mind around. I so agree. You said, Judge said it myself, a gifting. Yep, at peace. Yes, I love that. I love that part where they were saying that will feel like peace, right? That this will no longer be a stressful place. It will be a peaceful place. But boy, do I love that idea. You know what I mean? So cool. And saying, I just want to help the suffering to end, and the sense of belonging they talk about gives me great hope that this is going to help a bunch. Yes, yeah, I absolutely agree. Linda says shift of frequency will change desires for sure. Yeah. Say well-being conscious creators will need our desires to mature a bit, don't you think? Yep. Susan says, sounds like a new way for Source to create through us. Yeah, I agree. And doldrums of our own dormant thinking. I know, I love that line too. So I think they were having some fun with us there. And you're agreeing with Susan. Yeah. And you're saying, I know, we are actually here to love ourselves and have fun together. Yes, we are 100%. And Carrie says, sounds so amazing. I'm so excited for this. Yeah, me too. Shisha says, so excited. As a painter and gardener, my mind is imagining creating with nature. That is a great, I think having that artistic perspective where you're used to organizing things into paintings or organizing things like, you know what I mean? Like you're used to this process, but now imagine being able to do this on this larger canvas. It's going to be the canvas of reality of our world. It's going to be amazing. But the artists of the world will probably be teaching the rest of us a bit about the creative process. Yeah. Disney says, I have just had a fit about the eat and be eaten laws of nature today. For me, it really melts down to this. We need a new approach to food and how we consume in general. All of it. Yeah, all of it. And I think it would be incredibly hard for us to solve the world's problems today with humanity being at the level of consciousness that we have been. And I think this new wave of consciousness cannot come too soon. You know what I mean? For our sake and for the sake of the planet. Yeah. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me, for sharing the message and for holding this energy together. I think it is the more of us that hold this, I think the better it is, and helps to bring it to come, right? Helps it to come faster. I hope not that we can influence like if it is a wave of light that's coming from a gazillion miles away, but we can change how we receive it, right? How many of us receive it. So yeah. All right, you guys, sending you tons of love. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you next Friday live. Bye, you guys.